to bring on now to join me Mary Galloway. If you have not met Mary Galloway, she is a dear friend of mine, an amazing woman. She is also the CEO of the Women's Society of CyberJitsu. Welcome, Mary, to Wicked Six Global Edition, all women.
Hey, super excited. I've been waiting for this all year just
Well,
to
it hasn't been
see the
too far,
chatter.
dear.
Oh, yeah. But you know what I mean. So, this is
Absolutely.
great.
Oh, we have so many games today. Are you going to take a look at some of these games?
I am registering right now.
Excellent.
I'm like, I don't think I'm going to have
Excellent.
time, but I'm going to register for all of them just to see.
I agree. I'm going to try to my hand at a couple of too. I was really looking for Winjas um, uh, to see what they've got going on. I'm super excited. So, Mary, tell us a little bit about you. What is your story into cyber?
I fell into it. I rolled in. No, so I got my start like, dang, almost 12 years ago now, at a company called Accenture as a network engineer, and I hated it. It was like the absolute worst job. I was the only female. I was the only minority person on the team. And I was like, I'm about to quit. I'm going to go into like business or fashion or something. Um, and then they gave me a project to um, implement out of band management at the organization that I was at. And I was like, all right, I guess I can stay. And then I went to a security training, and Joe McCrae out of the Northern Virginia area was doing a class and showed us router configurations on the internet. And I was like, that's not right. So I guess I got to stick around a little longer. So lots of government work, doing cybersecurity, doing networking, doing information assurance, moved into the private sector. And I currently work as a sales engineer for Palo Alto in their Cortex speedboat. So anybody that's interested in automation and automating their SOC operations, I get to help them do that.
Very cool. So, tell us a little backstory on the origins of the Women's Society of Cyber started by Lisa Jiggets and yourself, right?
Something like that. So I actually, Lisa
Shout
had
out to
actually,
Lisa.
yeah, she had, you'll see her tomorrow, so stick around. Um, but she started the organization out of a need for a place for women to go and to learn and get hands on.
Hmm.
Northern Virginia, she would attend these different meetups, and it was kind of just like, it wasn't her flow. It wasn't what she was trying to do. And so she said, let me just see what happens. Um, Here we are almost 10 years later. We get to start our celebration of 10 years in June after CyberJitsu. And the first workshop was Backtrack. So if people are familiar with Kali Linux, think back 10 years ago to Backtrack.
Hmm.
Um, and the fact that so many women showed up both virtually and in person helped her realize that this is something that's needed, a place for us to come and, break stuff and ask questions and just feel comfortable and confident when we're doing it. And games was one of those things we did. We were doing Cyber Olympics back in the day and
Hmm.
MDC3, whatever it's called. And, that was my first exposure to cyber games. And so this is kind of like full circle as we go into 10 years of helping women feel empowered to be in cybersecurity.
I think that's fantastic. It's funny. I talk to a lot of folks in the community because you know how passionate I am about cybersecurity as a sport, and they're always questioning me. Cyber games, really? That's going to help attract women? Women like cyber games, but we see a lot of success with what the Women's Society of Cyber Jitsu has done, and a shout out to Marcel who leads the CTF program. Can you tell us what have you seen, heard? What are your thoughts on why women like to play games?
So most women have a competitive side, right? They're always trying to solve a challenge and they're always trying to
I
say,
don't know what you're talking about.
figure out how to do it better, right? I mean, I didn't even realize that I had the competitive side until I started playing these games. And
Mhm.
I would spend, hours sometimes on challenges and when the light bulb would go off for myself, I'm like, "Oh, I can use this. I can do this." And I can use that at work, right?
Mhm.
We have 1,000 women or so in this Discord right now that are all interested in learning about cyber games. It's fun, it's collaborative. If you want to be on your own by yourself, you can go on your own by yourself in the corner and play the game, or you can be on a team. Uh, but it's just you see the passion start to come out of people when they're
Yeah,
able to help the team be successful, and that's what this is about.
absolutely. I think it's a collaboration. I see women like to collaborate. We like to network. We find games
Hmm.
that we can help solve problems together.
Hmm.
I think that really attracts more women to the space. And I'm seeing some great banter here on Discord. This is fabulous. Uh, y'all are all queens. I love it.
Yes, yes,
So women in cybersecurity and the cybersecurity workforce gap, if you will, this is really a global issue, don't you think?
yes. It's not just here in the US. It's across the country, across the world, right? Everyone has infrastructure that, may be attached to the internet somehow or that has sensitive data, and we need the diverse thoughts that women can bring, that minorities can bring to the space to help protect that information and that infrastructure. And so it's super important that we work together to train up the next generation of cyber professionals, who doesn't matter if they're old or young, right? And actually give them the opportunities to use the skills that they're learning, use their experiences that they've come up with to help protect this infrastructure, to help protect the people.
Absolutely. Yeah, we lead also the US Cyber Games, and I went to Prague this year, and I had the opportunity to talk to several coaches from around the world, and they all were asking about how do you bring more women onto cyber teams, right?
Hmm.
And they want to bring more than one. Each one of the teams had tried and gotten maybe one woman on the team, and that put so much pressure on that
Hmm.
one woman because she's not only supposed to know how to play the game, she
Yep.
needs to know how to be the face because everybody wants to put her in front of media.
Yep.
They want to make a picture out of her, put her on a pedestal kind of thing, and she's scrutinized.
Hmm.
But it's funny, I've noticed when it's not just one woman, when it's two, three, four, 40%, all of a sudden we have an opportunity to impact and bring the diversity and the value of diversity to whatever job role we take.
Yep. Yep.
All
Totally
right.
agree.
Those on Discord, I am watching. You guys are having a grand time, but I need some questions for Mary here. So I will say, Mary, my dear, tell us about what is coming up for the Women's Society of CyberJitsu this year.
This year, so obviously this event here, and then we have our CyberJitsu Con plus ninth annual CyberJitsu Awards, June 18th. First in-person huge event since COVID has started. It's going to be in the Maryland area near Baltimore. There's hotel, there's going to be food, there's going to be cyber games, there's going to be recruiters. If you want to participate, registration opens on April 1st. Right now, the call for papers is still open. Nominate the women that you think should get an award. Nominate yourself for an award because if nobody else toots your own horn, you toot it yourself, right?
Really nominate yourself. Let's
Yeah.
unpack that for a second. How many
So
women just cringed when they heard that?
probably all of them, like, oh no. But let me tell you a secret. I never talked about what I did or how great I thought I was. Everybody else did it for me. But as soon as I started talking about how great I was or the things that I did or whatever, the door's open for a lot of things. So keep that in mind. It's okay to nominate yourself because if no one else knows you're doing the work, then how are they going to nominate you? How are they going to recognize you? So you put your work out there so they can see it. And the awards isn't just about who's better, who's got the fans, who's doing great things. It's about the regular folks, the people that aren't in the spotlight, that aren't in the limelight, right? We do a blind judging, so the judges don't know who we're looking at. So it's completely based off what is submitted. So I recommend getting somebody to submit, or you do it yourself, or come talk to me and I'll submit for you. Um, but that's going to be a huge event. It's going to be awesome. We're also launching small tribes this year. So
Small tribes. What's a small tribe?
our form of mentorship.
Okay.
It's a mastermind group of less than 10 women getting together to discuss, what's going on in the world, what's going on with where you're trying to go in your career, how to level up to that next level, whether you're an individual contributor or um, moving into management. We're gonna have all those kind of conversations and kind of unpack some of that stuff to help you get prepared. Um, and we're hoping to be able to launch a new training program, the CyberJitsu Skills Academy training program, the parent program to the VCSA, which is the Virginia Cyber Skills Academy program. So be on the lookout for that. We have one sponsor for that already. So shout out to Google for jumping in there and getting
Leading
us
the
started
way.
with that. So very excited. Any companies that are on right now, feel free to reach out to me. We want you to be at the conference. We want you to be a part of Small Tribes. We want you to be a part of um, all of the training that we do. Those that are participating in this event, come join us if you're not a member. We've got study groups going on. We've got networking events going on, conferences, all kind of great stuff for you to participate in this year.
And that's why I'm a member and active in the Women's Society of CyberJitsu, because I I love the idea that the majority of our members are either crossovers or boomerangs, and they wanted to know how to get into cyber or how to make the move, and they didn't want to put a lot of money into it, right? $10,000, $20,000,
Hmm.
but they start off with a tribe. They start off with a workshop that's under $100 that allows them to test out some skills, see if they even like it, and then they just grow with the community, and I think it's fabulous. So Mary, our Discord channel has been pretty active. I got some questions for you.
I see.
What has been, you like my little,
Yeah, it
there we
works.
go, there we go. What has been your biggest challenge in the cybersecurity space as a woman?
The people don't believe that I know what I'm talking about. So most folks don't even know that I have a technical background because they only see me on the front end with CyberJitsu. But I mean, I kind of think I do have a technical background.
How many
So
certs do you have now?
16, and I have to get like two more for work.
There you go. 16 certs.
16, six of them from SANS. I've got some CompTIA, I've got some Cisco in there.
But you're
Um,
not technical.
but
You're
I'm not
just
technical.
managerial.
No, I just know how to
Yeah.
take a test and I know how
Yeah.
to find the answers when I need them. But I think that's been the biggest challenge. And I like to use that energy, that whatever you want to call it, to kind of drive me to continue to dig in and be better and be greater than I was yesterday. I'm always going to have challenges, right? I'm a woman and I'm Black in cyber.
No.
So, I mean, I went to an event last night and it was just like, wow, I feel really out of place right now,
Mhm.
but I had to
Yeah.
go. It's normal. That's what I have to deal with. So if you guys are facing that, just know you're going to continue to face it and just use that energy to keep pushing forward and just keep being the best version of you can be.
No, I think that's great. And that's why we do events like this for around the world, is so that the women that are really a single woman in a room full of men, sometimes you don't realize there is an entire community of women facing the same challenges.
Yeah.
So it's wonderful. Got some more questions. In your opinion, what can the individual woman do to get more women into cybersecurity?
Be present,
What does
right?
that mean?
That means don't be afraid to just go up to talk to people and say, "Hey, have you ever heard of cybersecurity?" Or "Hey, have you heard of this game?" Or "Hey, have you looked at this?" Um, and then it also goes down into the elementary, the middle school, and high school levels. Show your face. Show them that cybersecurity looks different than what we're used to seeing. The industry is definitely changing and it's definitely moving in the right direction, but it's okay to have multicolor hair, right? It's okay if you like to have your nails done. I have colored hair and my nails are done. And I like to do other stuff besides cyber. It's okay, right? But those girls at that age, those women that are young and still trying to figure it out, they need to see us and see you to know that they can do this. And so that's the biggest thing, is just showing up.
Excellent. Let's see here. I have one last question, and then we're going to do kind of a commercial for you and what you've got going on Discord. What makes WSC different? There are quite a few women's organizations out there. Shout out to WeSys, who had a fabulous event last week. Woot woot! That looked like it was an RSA version of an event. I didn't get a chance to go this year. Very depressed about that. But the posting that I saw online was amazing. But what
Hmm.
makes the Women's Society of CyberJitsu different from all the other women organizations?
So I see us as the organization for, it doesn't matter if you're a student, if you're a professional, if you're trying to transition, there's a place for you in the organization. Um, and we also like to focus on hands-on stuff, right? So we want you to be able to have hands on keyboard, whether that's technical or non-technical, the core skills stuff. We want to provide those trainings and those opportunities. Um, and for me personally, um, I like to think that we're like, when you come to us and hang out with us, there's no expectations. It's just one of those free places you can do whatever you want, feel how you want, express how you want. And we want to build that community and have that level of comfort for everyone that comes here. You know, the ones that
Mhm.
are non-binary, the ones that identify as women, even the allies, to be a part of this community. And we build that community to empower other women. I love seeing the collaborations inside of our Slack channel and in the group, and with the conferences and the CTFs, and hey, I'm looking for a job, let me help you. That's what we want to invite. We want to have people feel comfortable, and that's, I think, what makes us different.
That's all really, really great. And I'm actually going to go back on what I said. There's a couple of ones that I want to read out here because I think there's a really great discussion going on Discord. Uh, but before I do that, I do want to say thank you, Mary. Mary actually approved today a special $50 off a full membership. You can use the membership code. Just head all over to the WSC channel to get that information. I pinned it so you can look at, once you go in there, look at the pins. It was like a pin at the top of your screen. Penny DM. I have worked, this is coming from our Discord channel. I have worked in IT for 20 years and want to transition into security, particularly as it relates to the cloud. I've been studying various aspects. However, she's not getting the interviews. What are your recommendations as we close out your session? We'll get to our keynote for transitioning from another area, so a crossover as we call it, into security to get companies to notice you and interview you.
So the first thing is check out my LinkedIn learning course when it comes out in May on
Oh,
launching your
look at
career in
you.
cybersecurity,
I
because I
didn't
talk
know that,
exactly
by the
about
way, for
this.
the audience. That was not a planned plug. Had no idea.
She had
Great
no
job,
clue.
Mary.
But you have to look at what skills you currently have and then start looking for jobs based around that, right? And a lot of folks want to come into cybersecurity and say, you know what, I don't think I have any skills from another industry. If you manage projects, we need project managers on the cyber side. If you've managed budgets and you know how to do the financial side of a business, we need that on the cybersecurity side. You can also start learning other skills, but start inventorying your skill sets, and then you have to start putting yourself out there.
Mhm,
Meaning, if you're working on learning Python, document what you're going through, like what challenges you're working on,
mhm,
what you figured out. You can do it on a video, you can do it in a blog, whatever it is, but start putting that stuff out there so
mhm,
that people can see that you're actually doing something outside of just applying for jobs.
mhm,
And then utilize your network. So if you're not a part of CyberJitsu, definitely join. And any of the other groups that are out there that have huge networks of people, because the power of the network, man, let me tell you, I think all of my jobs, except for maybe one, I've gotten my foot in the door through somebody in my network, right? Because they knew what I could do, they knew what skills I had, and they were like, hey, come interview for this job. So definitely utilize your network once you start putting yourself out there and letting people know what you can and can't do. Um, and when you start doing that, you'll start to see the offers coming in. You'll start to see folks that say, hey, I got this position, all that good jazz. So that's what I recommend. Penny, you can hit me up on here. We can talk further if you want. Let me know.
Excellent. Mary, always a pleasure. I'm sure we're going to chat again tomorrow as we in the finale. So looking forward to your talk later. I think it's this evening with Dr. Reem.
Yes.
Really looking forward to that. So thank you.